So progressivism is found on page 111 to 113 in chapter 5. Student-centered is an educational theory that emphasizes that ideas should be tested by experimentation and that learning is rooted in questions developed by the learners. So you can already tell that the learners have more responsibility for their actual learning. And that's a whole difference. Whereas in progressivism, in the student-centered, I am not the dispenser of knowledge. I'm a facilitator, perhaps. Progressivism favors the scientific method of teaching and learning, allows for the beliefs of individuals, and stresses programs of student involvement that help students learn how to think. I'm not telling them what to think. I'm not dispensing the knowledge, but I'm telling them how to think to get a result. And if I can't problem solve, if I can't think critically, if I can't analyze things, then it doesn't matter. I'm just memorizing facts if I can't apply it. Progressivists believe that the school should actively prepare its students for change because why? Our world is continually changing. The classroom today, students sitting in the classroom today, is much different than what it was 5 years ago even. Progressive schools emphasize learning how to think rather than what to think, how to think rather than what to think. Boy, that's a thought in itself. Flexibility is important in the curriculum design, and the emphasis is on experimentation with no single body of content stressed more than any other. All subject matter is important. Probably a lot of intermingling amongst the subject areas. Lots of hands-on activities. It is a teaching approach that focuses on interdisciplinary problems that encompass a variety of academic disciplines and skills rather than a subject-centered approach to problem solving. So that interdisciplinary problems, and then there's a variety of the academic disciplines. So a lot of overflowing, that interchange of materials, lots of that going on. The assertion is that interest in an intellectual activity will generate all of the practice needed by learning. So that hands-on building, making, creating, doesn't that sound familiar, creates more learning and more interest in the learning. A tenet of progressivism is that to become an important social institution, the school must take on the task of improving society. Whether we like the idea or not, we hold a lot of responsibility to what our world will be in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, by what we're building right now, the type of students that we are building. Pupil-teacher planning is the key to democracy in classrooms and is the process that gives some freedom to students as well as teachers in decisions about what is studied. Some freedom is the key word. It doesn't necessarily mean the students are in full control and decide all the decisions, but things decisions are made together as a group with the teacher's involvement. Progressivism views the learner as an experiencing, thinking, exploring individual. Wow. An experiencing, thinking, exploring individual. Wow. Progressivists regard books as tools to be used in learning rather than as sources of indisputable knowledge. I think I shared with you there was a teacher that took one of the poplets. We introduced the web to a poplet, but then she went in there and there's some pre-made ones and found one on dinosaurs, and her students were disputing part of the information, and they went to the library and did a search. Think about that learning experience in itself. We're not just taking what a book is saying to be true, but we are sometimes challenging those truths to see is it accurate. Progressivism is criticized by Back to the Basics advocates for placing so much stress on the process of education that it ends up neglected. They want that A, B, C, D type learning, and progressivism's not necessarily. There's learning, but it's not necessarily whether the answer is A, B, C, or D. It's not memorization.